thank you very much for having me out here today, and to thank the Winnebago County Democrats for hosting this event. Oh, sorry. So my full-time job, I own and run Cher's restaurant down in Decorah. So most of my time is spent in the kitchen. So I'm not a public speaker per se, but please bear with me. I'm not as good extemporaneously or speaking on my feet as the other candidates before. It's a little rough actually coming after Sarah and Rob. I feel like the opening act that got stuck to the end of the show. So please bear with me here. But in my spare time, I'm also the chair of the Democrats down in Clayton County, and so I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge all the people over the years who have worked for the Winnebago County Democrats as chairs. Just in my time here, I know John, of course, Carl Hockenstad, Nate Thompson, and Matt Topscott, who have all done really important things, and we've enjoyed working with them as neighbors. And I think that's really important, and a big move that we've made in this area is to work together with other counties as neighbors, because we share districts, we should also share resources and time. So, and especially I want to thank Matt for his previous Senate run for this position. His hard work there has provided a lot of backbone for what I'm trying to do here. So thank you very much, Matt. So my name is Brian Bruning, like I said, and just a point of clarification. My branch of Brunings, while related to the Brunings here, are the New Hampton branch. So this the Brunings here would be my dad's cousins. So my second cousins, they kind of inherited all the money. We got all the farm debt. So, but that said, I was raised in New Hampton, went to school there, and when I was 18, I was like, I want to get out of here. I want to go someplace else. So I moved to Boston for college, and I went to Boston University, which is, at the time, was the largest private school in the United States, because I wanted to be in a place with a lot of people. My graduating class was 101. My graduating class at Boston University was 4,200. So I was like, I needed an expansion of my my horizons, so to speak. So I went to school in Boston, so worked for college admissions there, and then I also went and got my master's in fine arts in poetry at Emerson College. So my background is entirely humanities. It is how people interact with each other, how we are human. That is my background, and I bring that into my run here. So, in 2006, I moved with my partner Frederick, who's standing over there, and we moved to Decorah because I wanted to be back in Iowa, because the Iowa I grew up with, the Iowa I remembered, was a welcoming place, and a place where people had common sense and had good relations with their neighbors. It was a place where you could raise a family, where people wanted to come back and raise their families. But you know what? I don't see that Iowa anymore. Since we moved in 2006 to Decorah, I have seen Iowa change drastically in a lot of different ways. One of the things that I think is super important that I learned by running a business in a small town in Decorah is that in a small town, we are really dependent on the success of everyone else for our own success. So for instance, when someone comes up from Des Moines or from the Quad Cities or Chicago to the restaurant, I am dependent on the bed and breakfast down the street for them to stay, for the cafe for where they can grab coffee, for the streets up and down Main Street where they can spend the day as well. It is so important to acknowledge that my success as a business, as a member of the community, is dependent on everyone else's success. Community interdependence is important to acknowledge because we cannot thrive in isolation. Yet, after a decade of Republican control, the quality of life in Iowa has eroded. Their policies have torn apart the very fabric of our communities. We've seen the detrimental impacts of Republican legislation on our public schools, with the voucher programming siphoning money out of our public schools and putting them into private schools in Des Moines and Cedar Rapids and Dubuque. We've seen them strip so much from the AEAs that our small rural schools depend on. And I will add, a bill that nobody, literally nobody wanted. Just a brief story. So my current House Representative is Ann Osmondson, who, she's a whole story on her own. But when the AEA bill was introduced, she received more calls, phone calls, and emails from people of every party that she was shocked. Absolutely shocked. She complained that she had so much outreach from the community because she didn't think it was her job to listen to them. And when it actually came to the final vote, she was absent that day. And she decided not to run again. And we are very thankful for her to not run again because she was terrible. Another thing that Republicans put through in the last couple of years is the privatization of Medicaid. We spend millions of dollars to a private company to run our Medicaid program, and we see more and more people get their health care denied, but also so many hospitals aren't getting paid the money they are owed. And you know what? When you're in a small rural hospital, you need that money. Because you can't keep your doors open if you can't bring in the money that is for the services you do. They also have enacted one of the strictest abortion bans in the United States, leaving women without essential care and creating an environment in Iowa so hostile that we now have the lowest OBGYN per capita in the United States. We have seen hospitals, that just recently happened, hospitals are getting rid of their maternal wards. People are unable to get the care that they need. And our teachers, instead of being trusted to guide children, are micromanaged by politicians who have never stepped foot in a classroom. Yeah. That makes no sense. Every time a local school or hospital closes, it is a crisis for a small town. Nothing hollows out a small town faster than losing their school. We've seen it all over. All over Clayton County, I've seen it. As schools have consolidated, the towns that lose out are the ones that lose their school. And when you lose the school, you lose small business. You lose the people who want to move back to their towns to make it better. And slowly, people get older and the town dies. We need to reverse that trend. And we reverse that trend by supporting our schools, supporting our hospitals, and supporting our small town businesses. I think the unraveling that we've seen is a result of Republicans' relentless relentless push to privatize and deregulate everything. An effort to undermine government's roles in our life. But regulation isn't a dirty word. It's what keeps us safe. It ensures the food we eat is safe. It ensures the water we drink is safe. It ensures the cars that we drive are safe. We need government to work for us because we cannot do it individually on our own. But there are areas where the MAGA legislatures love to put on regulations. They love to regulate our personal lives and turn a blind eye to the corporations that shower them with political donations. They dictate what a woman can do with her body, what health care our children can access, and even what books they can read. But they have little interest in regulating CAFOs and nitrate runoff that affect every single one of us and our quality of life. Our state's motto recently changed from fields of opportunities to freedom to flourish. But it begs the question, who is really flourishing in Iowa? Yeah. It's certainly not the families struggling in our district and the young people leaving for better prospects elsewhere. We need to act now. I will introduce a constitutional amendment to guarantee every Iowan's access and right to clean air and water. I will advocate for stricter oversight of agricultural pollution and increased funding to fight the rising cancer rates exacerbated by our current policies. We need to restore support for our public schools, for our AEAs, and repeal the harmful legislation that has undermined our communities and our personal and parental freedoms. Together, we can repair the damage done by Mike Clemish and his colleagues. We must prioritize local needs over political theater. I'm committed to advocating for our people, not just in District 32, but across the state of Iowa. This election is critical because who we send to Des Moines is important. I care deeply about our community because I live here. This is my home too. So I ask you for your support as I travel throughout this district. Whether through donations or volunteering, every effort counts. Please visit my website, broodingforiowa.com, to learn about how you can help. But most importantly, talk to your family and friends. And let them know that I need their vote too to help make our community stronger. As I've gone through this and talked to people, I've learned a lot of things about what makes this area beautiful and important. And I get in trouble when I talk to it with people outside of this district, but this is absolutely the most beautiful part of the state. It really is. And it is worth fighting for to protect. We have the best trout fishing in the United States. We should protect it. We have amazing trails and forests and all kinds of recreational activities to do. We should protect it. We should not give up because it is too important to save what we have. So here's the thing. I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for you to talk to other people about it. And I'm asking for you to help volunteer with the Democrats to get out other voters. This is such an important election. But you know what? It feels like 2008 a little bit, doesn't it? Yes. I feel excitement on the ground in a way that I haven't felt since that election in 2008. Let's make something of this time. Let's get out there and elect Democrats up and down the ballot. One thing I will say, please vote no for David May for Supreme Court. He is Kim Reynolds' plant that has shot down every one of, or has supported all of her ridiculous legislation. So big no on that one. But anyway, thanks for your time. Thank you again for having me. Appreciate it.
Well done. Geez, for somebody who says he's not very practiced in public speaking, it's certainly apparent that he's done an awful lot of really good thinking about what makes government work. And thank you so much, Brian. You hit on all sorts of important things. Quality of life is one of the best engines of economic development, and you get it. And I think we all do here in Iowa. We know how important our natural resources are and how important our human resources are. So, not last but certainly not least is our next speaker.